It used to be that, like, if you saw a golf ball,
Yeah.
you knew exactly what it was for.
Right.
But in one of the cases we're diving into today,
Mm.
a golf ball takes on a much more, well, sinister role.
Yeah.
And believe me, you're not going to forget this one anytime soon.
It's definitely a case that sticks with you.
Yeah. So if you like to stay ahead of the curve on these true crime stories and case updates, this is the deep dive for you. We're cutting through the noise and getting right to the heart of some truly baffling and disturbing events.
That's right.
We've got missing wives, shocking betrayals, and twists you won't see coming, in fact.
Yeah.
One case we'll be covering later.
So controversial. It's got everyone talking, but we'll get to that for now. Let's start with a story that's been haunting Michigan for years, the disappearance of Dee Warner.
Yeah, that's a case that really, I think, underscores how even in the age of technology and instant information, some mysteries can remain unsolved for years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dee vanished back in April 2021. And from the start, her husband Dale claimed she'd just walked away from their life together. Right, and that's a common narrative in missing person cases, especially when a spouse is involved.
Okay.
But the fact that Dale Warner was arrested for Dee's murder before they even found her body, that speaks volumes about the strength of the case against
It
him.
really does. It makes you wonder, what kind of evidence could be so compelling that they'd arrest someone without a body?
Well, in cases like this, investigators have to rely heavily on what we call circumstantial evidence. Think of it like a puzzle. You might not have all the pieces, but you have enough to see the overall picture. They look for inconsistencies in alibis, financial records, cell phone data, witness statements, anything that could point to foul play.
And then, 2 years after Dee disappears, they make a chilling discovery on one of Dale's properties. Human remains, concealed inside a welded-shut gas tank
Ugh.
that someone had gone to the trouble of painting over.
Ugh, it's the kind of detail that sends shivers down your spine, and it raises questions about premeditation and a deliberate attempt to not only hide a body, but to erase any trace of Dee ever having existed.
It's a horrifying thought. And while we're waiting for the medical examiner to officially confirm the identity of those remains, you can bet this discovery has reignited the search for answers in this case.
Absolutely, and this development is a good reminder that justice doesn't always have a timeline. And even in cases that seem cold, the truth can eventually emerge.
Okay, let's shift gears now to a story out of Miami that really highlights how vulnerable young people can be, even in seemingly safe environments.
Yeah, cases involving those in positions of authority, particularly those who prey on the trust placed in them. They always hit a nerve.
This one certainly does. We're talking about Maria Duarte, who posed as a psychologist to gain access to a vulnerable 15-year-old girl.
Right, and this is a classic example of what we call grooming, a manipulative tactic predators use to build trust with a victim, often showering them with attention and gifts, all while isolating them from their support system.
And in this case, the details are especially disturbing. Duarte allegedly lured the girl to a hotel room, plied her with alcohol and marijuana, and then forced her to record herself having sex with a man. It's absolutely horrific to think someone would exploit a child in such a calculated and cruel way.
It really is. And I think what's important to remember here is that
Mhm.
child trafficking doesn't always look like what we see in movies. It often starts subtly, with manipulation and coercion, making it harder for victims to recognize what's happening.
That's such an important point. And thankfully, this young girl had the courage to go to the police. Imagine what might have happened if she hadn't spoken up.
I know her bravery is commendable and likely prevented further harm to her and potentially others. This highlights the importance of teaching our children about online safety, the warning signs of grooming, and the power of speaking out.
Now let's turn our attention to a case that's been making headlines in both the entertainment world and the true crime community. You might remember the tragic passing of Friends star Matthew Perry last year. His death was initially attributed to the effects of ketamine.
Right. Addiction is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences. And unfortunately, Matthew Perry's story highlights how even those with fame and fortune can struggle with substance abuse.
But what started as a seemingly straightforward case has taken a disturbing turn. 2 doctors are now facing serious charges connected to Perry's death, and the details are truly unsettling. They allegedly saw his addiction not as a medical condition, but as a way to line their own pockets.
That's what makes this case so disturbing. These were medical professionals entrusted with Perry's care. And instead of helping him overcome his addiction, they allegedly exploited it for profit.
And it gets worse. Text messages between the doctors reveal a callous disregard for Perry's well-being. They talk about how much they can charge him for the ketamine, referring to him as a moron, and using code words like Dr. Pepper to cover their tracks.
Yeah, these messages paint a chilling picture of greed and manipulation, and they raise serious ethical questions about the healthcare system and the responsibility doctors have to their patients, especially those struggling with addiction.
It makes you wonder how often this kind of thing happens. Are there other vulnerable individuals out there being taken advantage of by unscrupulous medical professionals? It's a terrifying thought.
It is, and this case could potentially expose a much larger network involved in supplying drugs to vulnerable individuals.
Absolutely. Along with the two doctors, Perry's personal assistant and a friend have already admitted to being involved in a conspiracy to distribute ketamine. And then there's the so-called ketamine queen, a drug dealer who allegedly supplied Perry with the drug. She's maintaining her innocence. But we'll have to see how that plays out in court.
This case has a lot of moving parts, and it will be interesting to see how it unfolds in the coming months. It's a stark reminder that addiction can touch anyone's life, and the consequences can be devastating.
No. Our next case is one that I mentioned earlier that's got everyone talking. Alexi Trevizo, the young woman from New Mexico, who was charged with suffocating her newborn baby and then hiding the body in a hospital trash can.
Yeah, it's a case that raises profound questions about accountability, justice, and the limits of the law.
And it's incredibly frustrating because her trial keeps getting delayed. It was supposed to start soon, but now it's been pushed back again because of legal arguments over HIPAA. That's the law that protects patient privacy.
Right. HIPAA is designed to safeguard sensitive medical information, ensuring that patients can feel comfortable sharing personal details with their doctors without fear of that information being disclosed.
Right. But in this case, Alexi's lawyers are trying to suppress statements she made to a doctor after the birth, claiming they're protected under HIPAA.
So this raises a complex legal question. Should a patient's right to confidentiality extend to potentially shielding evidence in a criminal investigation, especially when a life is lost?
It's a tough call. On the one hand,
Yeah.
you want to protect people's privacy and ensure they feel safe talking to their doctors. But on the other hand, you don't want a law like HIPAA to be used to obstruct justice. It's a delicate balance.
It is, and this case could have far-reaching consequences for how HIPAA is interpreted and applied in future cases.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, Alexi is out there living her life as if nothing happened. There's even footage of her out shopping and socializing, which has a lot of people wondering if she's truly grasping the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, it's hard to know what's going on in her mind, but her outward demeanor has certainly fueled public outrage and added to the controversies surrounding this case.
Adding to the complexity, we have that chilling body cam footage from the hospital, where we see Alexi's mother fiercely defending her, claiming she's innocent. It's hard to reconcile that image of a protective mother with the horrific allegations against her daughter.
Yeah, the role of parental support in cases like this is always complex. It's natural for a parent to want to believe the best about their child, even in the face of overwhelming evidence. But it also raises questions about the limits of parental loyalty and the importance of acknowledging the truth, even when it's painful.
Speaking of young people making headlines for all the wrong reasons, let's move on to the case of Emily and Skylar, the two sisters from Las Vegas, who used social media to set a deadly trap.
This case is a stark reminder of the dark side of social media and how easily it can be used to deceive and exploit others. It's a cautionary tale for all of us, especially those with teenagers.
It really is. These sisters used Instagram to lure a 19-year-old named Connor to an apartment with the intention of robbing him. He'd been posting pictures of himself with stacks of cash, trying to project an image of wealth and success.
Right. It's a classic example of how social media can create a distorted reality where individuals present carefully curated versions of themselves, often masking their true circumstances.
But in Connor's case, the money wasn't even his. It belonged to the ATM company he worked for.
Yeah.
And tragically, his attempt to portray a flashy lifestyle made him a target.
And his boss had actually warned him about the dangers of posting money online, but sadly, that advice went unheeded.
And during the robbery, things took a terrifying turn. Connor was shot and killed. Now Emily, Skylar, and their accomplice Nathan are all facing murder charges.
And the text messages they exchanged before the robbery are particularly damning. They reveal a cold-hearted plan with discussions about where to get a gun and how Connor always brings the money with him.
And there's an added layer of mystery to this case, because the text messages also mention someone named Spaz Out, who police believe may have been involved. So far, though, they haven't been able to identify this person.
So the possibility of another participant suggests a potentially wider criminal network and adds another layer of intrigue to an already tragic case.
Now hold on to your hats,
Mhm.
because our next case takes us to Seattle, where a young woman named Zoe, he was found dead in her boyfriend Andy Chu's apartment under some truly bizarre and disturbing circumstances.
This case is as perplexing as it is unsettling, filled with strange details that suggest a possible element of ritualistic behavior.
You're telling me Zoe was found with an ice pack on her throat, a block supporting her head, and a K powder sprinkled all over her body. Plus, the bathtub and sink faucets were both left running, causing water to flood the apartment.
The staging of the scene raises a lot of questions about Andy Chu's state of mind and whether his actions were premeditated or the result of some sort of psychotic break.
And then there's the detail that stuck with everyone. Zoe had a golf ball in her mouth.
That particular detail is both peculiar and disturbing. It suggests a level of premeditation and a desire to control or manipulate the scene in a very specific way.
When police finally caught up with Andy, he confessed to killing Zoe, claiming he'd choked her, twisted her neck, and held her underwater in the bathtub. He even admitted that he might have broken her neck, but his story kept changing, and it was hard to follow.
Right. His shifting narrative and apparent disorientation suggest a possible mental health crisis, potentially exacerbated by drug use. He admitted to smoking weed and taking Molly before the incident.
And he tried to explain away the golf ball by saying he put it in Zoe's mouth to fix her jaw. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a detail that defies easy explanation and adds to the already disturbing nature of the crime. It could be a sign of delusion, a desperate attempt to rationalize his actions, or a deliberate act of cruelty.
It's one of those cases that really gets under your skin. And just when you think things can't get any stranger, we have an update on the Madeline Soto case, which is even more unsettling, particularly because of the young age of the victim. Remember, Madeline was the 13-year-old from Colorado who was tragically killed, allegedly, by her mother's boyfriend, Stefan Stern.
This case is heartbreaking and raises serious concerns about the responsibility of caregivers to protect vulnerable children.
Recently, Madeline's mother, Jen Soto, gave a police interview that has left people scratching their heads throughout the interview. She maintains a remarkably calm demeanor, even when discussing the horrific details of her daughter's disappearance and death.
Her composure is striking and has led some to question whether she was aware of the abuse Madeline was suffering or even potentially complicit in a cover-up.
It's definitely unsettling. And then she reveals some details that are just plain disturbing. She tells police that Madeline and Stefan had been sleeping upstairs together, even when she was home.
That detail is deeply troubling. It suggests a serious lack of judgment on Jen's part and raises questions about her awareness of the potential dangers inherent in such an arrangement.
And then there's the fact that Stefan took a late-night drive the night Madeline disappeared, which many suspect was a trip to the dump site where her body was eventually found.
Right, that late-night drive is highly suspicious and points to a possible attempt to conceal evidence or dispose of incriminating items.
So far, Stefan is the only one who's been arrested. But investigators are still digging into Jen's potential involvement, and a lot of people are wondering if it's only a matter of time before she's charged as well.
The investigation is ongoing, and it's possible that Jen was truly unaware of the abuse or the events that led to Madeline's death. However, the evidence that's emerging is certainly raising serious questions about her role in this tragedy.
And those are just a few of the cases we're unpacking in this deep dive. We've got more twists and turns to uncover, so make sure you stick around for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into these disturbing events and discuss the broader implications of what we've learned.
We'll be examining the psychology behind these crimes, the legal and ethical dilemmas they present, and the societal factors that might contribute to such horrific acts.
You know, as we've been going through these cases, I keep coming back to one central question. What makes seemingly ordinary people capable of such extraordinary acts of cruelty?
It's a question that has haunted philosophers and criminologists for centuries. What drives someone to cross that line from thought to action, from fantasy to horrific reality?
Exactly. Take the Seattle murder, for instance. The details of Zoe's death are just so bizarre and disturbing. It's hard to wrap your head around how anyone could do something like that.
Yeah, the presence of ritualistic elements, the seemingly staged scene, and that inexplicable detail of the golf ball in her mouth all suggest a level of premeditation and a desire to control the narrative, even in death.
And what about Dee Warner's case? To think that someone could go to such lengths to conceal a body, welding it inside a gas tank, painting it over, it speaks to a level of cold-blooded calculation that's truly chilling.
It is. It's a stark reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. often disguised behind a facade of normalcy.
It's a sobering thought.
Mhm.
And it makes you wonder, are there warning signs we're missing? Could these tragedies have been prevented?
In some cases.
Hmm.
There are red flags, a history of domestic abuse, troubling social media posts, signs of mental health issues, but they often go unnoticed or ignored.
Right, like in Connor's case,
Yeah.
where he was warned about the dangers of flaunting money online. But he didn't heed those warnings. It's a tragic reminder that even seemingly harmless online behavior can have real-world consequences.
Exactly.
And in the Matthew Perry case, the warning signs were likely there, the escalating drug use, the dependence on certain doctors. But addiction can be a powerful force, clouding judgment and making it difficult for individuals to seek help.
Yep.
And what about Madeline Soto? How could a mother allow her daughter to be in such a vulnerable position? Were there signs of abuse that she missed, or was she willfully ignorant?
It's impossible to know for sure what was going on in Jen Soto's mind, but her composure during the police interview, the unsettling sleeping arrangements she allowed, and Stefan's suspicious late-night drive all raise serious questions about her role in this tragedy.
It's a case that really gets under your skin because it makes you question the very nature of parental love and the lengths to which someone might go to protect themselves, even at the expense of their own child.
It really does. These cases are complex and multifaceted, and there are rarely easy answers. They force us to confront the uncomfortable reality that evil is not always easily identifiable. It can wear a familiar face, live next door, even be someone we love.
So where do we go from here? What can we do to protect ourselves and those we love from becoming victims or perpetrators of these horrific acts?
Well, awareness is key. We need to educate ourselves and our children about the dangers of online exploitation, the warning signs of abuse and addiction, and the importance of seeking help when it's needed.
And we need to be willing to have difficult conversations, to speak up when we see something that's not right, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient.
Absolutely. These cases, as unsettling as they are, serve as powerful reminders that vigilance, compassion, and a commitment to justice are essential in a world where darkness can often hide in plain sight.
Well said. And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the dark side of human nature. If you're looking for a deeper exploration of the Madeline Soto and Alexei Trevizo cases, we've got links to full episodes in the show notes. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next descent into the world of true crime. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe. Now, our next case is the one I mentioned earlier that's got everyone talking, Alexei Trevizo,
Oh, yeah.
the young woman from New Mexico, charged with suffocating her newborn baby and then hiding the body in a hospital trash can.
Right. Such a tragic case. And it raises so many questions.
It does. About accountability, justice, the limits of the law. And it's incredibly frustrating because her trial keeps getting delayed.
I know, I heard about that.
It was supposed to start soon, but now it's been pushed back again because of legal arguments over HIPAA. That's the law that protects patient privacy.
Right. So tricky.
In this case, Alexei's lawyers are trying to suppress statements she made to a doctor after the birth, claiming they're protected under HIPAA.
So that raises the question, where do you draw the line
Exactly.
between patient confidentiality and, you know, a criminal investigation?
It's a tough call.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you want to protect people's privacy
Yeah.
and make sure they feel safe talking to their doctors. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
you don't want a law like HIPAA being used to obstruct justice.
Right. It's a delicate balance for sure.
Meanwhile, Alexei is out there living her life as if nothing happened. Footage of her shopping, socializing. That's a lot of people wondering if she truly grasps the gravity of the situation.
I can see why. That would upset people.
Adding to the complexity,
Oh.
we have that chilling body cam footage from the hospital where we see Alexei's mother fiercely defending her, claiming she's innocent.
It's always complicated, that parental instinct to protect.
It makes you think about parental loyalty and where the line is.
It does.
Speaking of young people making headlines for all the wrong reasons, let's move on to the case of Emily and Skylar, two sisters from Las Vegas
Oh, this one.
who used social media to set a deadly trap.
Right. The dangers of social media.
These sisters used Instagram to lure a 19-year-old named Connor to an apartment with the intention of robbing him. He'd been posting pictures of himself with stacks of cash,
Classic.
trying to project an image of wealth and success.
That online persona.
But the money wasn't even his.
Oh, wow.
It belonged to the ATM company he worked for. And tragically, his attempt to portray a flashy lifestyle made him a target.
So sad.
His boss had actually warned him
Good grief.
about posting money online.
Makes you wonder if he'd listen.
During the robbery, things took a terrifying turn. Connor was shot and killed.
Oh, no.
Now, Emily Schuyler and their accomplice Nathan are all facing murder charges.
And I remember the text messages.
The text messages they exchanged before are particularly damning.
Sure.
Discussions of getting a gun and how Connor always brings the cash. There's also someone named Spaz Out mentioned, who the police believe may have been involved,
Another layer to it.
but haven't been able to identify this person so far.
I see.
Now hold on to your hats.
Okay.
Our next case takes us to Seattle, where a young woman named Zoe He was found dead in her boyfriend, Andy Chu's apartment, under some bizarre and disturbing
I
circumstances.
remember this one. So unsettling.
Zoe was found with an ice pack on her throat, a block supporting her head, and the Kai powder sprinkled all over her body.
A Kai powder.
The bathtub and sink faucets
Oh.
were both left running, causing water to flood the apartment.
Almost like a ritual.
And then there's the detail that stuck with
It's a
everyone.
golf ball.
Zoe had a golf ball in her mouth.
That's awful.
When police finally caught up with Andy, he confessed to killing Zoe, claimed he choked her, twisted her neck, held her underwater in the bathtub. He even admitted he might have broken her neck.
Wow.
But his story kept changing,
Oh,
and
really?
it was hard to follow.
I see.
He tried to explain away the golf ball by saying he put it in Zoe's mouth to fix her jaw.
To fix her jaw.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
And just when you think things can't get any stranger,
Oh, boy.
we have an update on the Madeline Soto case.
Oh, boy.
Madeline was the 13-year-old from Colorado,
Yeah.
tragically killed, allegedly by her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stern.
Right. Heartbreak.
Madeline's mother, Jen Soto,
Hmm.
gave a police interview that has left people scratching their heads
Oh, why is that?
throughout the interview.
Yeah.
She maintains a remarkably calm demeanor,
Hmm.
even when discussing the horrific details of her daughter's disappearance and death.
That's odd.
And then she reveals some details that are just plain disturbing.
Mm.
She tells police that Madeline and Stephen had been sleeping upstairs together, even when she was home. And then there's the fact that Stephen took a late-night drive, the night Madeline disappeared, which many suspect was a trip to the dump site,
Yeah.
where her body was eventually found.
Oh, wow.
Stephen's the only one who's been arrested so far.
Yeah.
But investigators are still digging into Jen's potential involvement.
Definitely some unanswered questions there.
You know, going through all this,
Mm-hmm.
it makes you wonder, what makes seemingly ordinary people capable of such extraordinary acts of cruelty?
It's a question for the ages, isn't it?
It really is. Like the Seattle murder, the details of Zoe, his death. So bizarre, so disturbing, hard to wrap your head around it.
I agree. The ritualistic elements,
Mm-hmm.
the staging, that golf ball, it all points to premeditation.
And Dee Warner's case. Imagine going to such lengths to conceal a body, welding it inside a gas tank, painting it over
Chilling.
cold-blooded.
It really is.
Makes you think, are there warning signs we're missing? Could these tragedies have been prevented?
Sometimes there are red flags, abuse, social media posts, mental health issues, but often they go unnoticed.
Like Connor. Warned about flaunting money online,
Yeah.
didn't listen.
Sad, really.
Matthew Perry, too. Escalating drug use. Dependence on certain doctors.
Addiction is a powerful force.
It is. What about Madeline Soto? How could a mother allow that?
Tough to say what was going on there.
Jen Soto's composure in that interview. Those sleeping arrangements. Stephen's late-night drive.
So many questions.
Really makes you question. Parental love. Protecting themselves at all costs.
These cases are complex. Rarely easy answers. Evil isn't always obvious.
No, it isn't.
It can be anyone.
So where do we go from here? How can we protect ourselves and those we love?
Awareness is key. Education. Dangers online. Warning signs. Seeking help.
And having those tough conversations. Speaking up.
Exactly.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
So important.
These cases, as unsettling as they are,
They are
important reminders.
vigilance. Compassion.
Yeah.
Just
Well said. That's a wrap on this deep dive into the dark side of human nature. Deeper exploration of Madeline Soto and Lexi Treviso. Links in the show notes. Subscribe so you don't miss our next descent into true crime. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.